by seeing anything other than wedding photography from you, or if you want to focus there, or if it's where you make the most money, then I would consider making a separate website and potentially even a separate brand for that. But I would then also include that work in my own website at personal.com, meaning that I would include all the work that I do, but in subcategories under robertoblake.com, but I might split off a different brand for one thing as a sub-brand that specifically targets and micro-targets that audience, and then I might do another that is a place that I want to expand into, because then that gives me every opportunity to communicate to people in the way that they want, not just the way that I feel comfortable with. And I think that's the big thing, is when you're asking someone to give you their business or part with their money, you have to compromise a little bit and give them what they need more, and say that you're sensitive to that and speak to that, and give them what they need from you, allow them to focus, and then you can get what you need afterwards. So artist is last, and I think I'm actually going to title a book that.
Any killer tips on blogging?
Oh, great question. All right, so he asked if there are any killer tips on blogging. So for blogging, blogging is something that a lot of people think is dead, but it's really not. Blogging is another opportunity potentially to be found in search. It's another way to distribute content. And I think that killer tips for blogging is, I would say, leverage your natural skills. As photographers and storytellers and people who might be able to do video, you can actually get more time on site and get your stuff sticky in a blog by having a lot of images, a lot of beautiful photography, and it's great storytelling, and it's a huge advantage versus the average person. The average consumer that you're competing with might be a great writer, but they may not be great at photography or video. Time on site matters because Google and all these platforms trade in attention. The longer you can get a human being to pay attention to something, the better, which is why all the platforms that we hear about that are dominating right now are visual platforms. Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, and even Facebook said, nope, we gotta go into video, we gotta go into live stream, we gotta, it's like, visuals matter, human beings matter, faces and voices and audio and all these things matter, and we don't read any. So, with blogging, I would say that know your audience, know who you're targeting. Let's get really personal. Like, what's your target market? Who's your ideal customer?
Wedding clients.
Wedding clients. Okay. Wedding clients, corporate clients. You know what? When everyone asks me, because this is something no one asks, how do you figure out what content to make? Anybody curious about that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So think about the top 10 most frequently asked questions that you get from new clients. Think about the thing that everyone asks you before they commit to handing you money. Those 10 things probably would make really good content because someone's trying to figure that out. You take those 10 things and then you also think about 3 or 5 ways you can rephrase that. So if you are dealing in wedding clients, I would say that, I don't know, 5 things every bride should know but never ask is probably really clickbaity, and at the same time, if you deliver on that promise, it's really valuable, and then anyone will share that with someone they know is getting married. Crap, I gave away a really good idea. I should have told that. But cool. Everybody go do that. Do some variation of that. And so that's a primary answer to that question is you think about the pain points of your clients. You think about what do they ask you all the time. And by the way, by making content around that, you can buy back your time. Because then you can just point them to this resource and say, hey, that's a great question. I hear it all the time. I made this really great guide, or I made this really great series of tips, and it's only going to take you 3 minutes or 5 minutes to go through it, and it's going to answer everything you need to know, and you're going to really enjoy it, and it'll probably answer 10 other questions you haven't thought of yet. And you know what? 5 minutes of somebody's time to relieve that anxiety and answer like 5 or 10 of those questions is definitely worth it to them. I mean, you guys spent an hour with me, so. Potentially. For the reason that I said that you should also start a photography group is one, like much as we might want to think otherwise, we can't take all the work that's out there. It's a really good way to fail. And beyond that, we really don't want to because Let's face it, there's just some people we don't want to work with. Like, anybody here ever had a nightmare client that they just wish they had said no to out the gate? Well, look at that. So it's probably worth it to invite other photographers rather than compete and collaborate, because there might be someone that's not a good fit for you that might be a great fit for them, or that they feel really confident to handle that one. There's some people I know that actually love problem clients because it's a big enough mountain for them to climb. And so maybe that person is someone who can be part of your community and can relieve some headaches from you without you having to look bad or say, oh, so, yeah, that. All right, I know there were some more hands real quick. There's somebody. You guys gotta help me out a little bit because I'm kind of like semi-blind.
I got one. You're talking about blogging. Is there any, either ITTT or any other service that will take your blog post and whisk it away to Facebook, Instagram, whatever?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Okay, so the question was for blogging. Is there something like IFTTT, IFTTT.com, or anything like that that is an appliance that can help you distribute your content? And the answer is there's a ton of them. But here's some of my favorites. There's a WordPress plugin called Evergreen Post, and I think that one's free. There's a premium plugin called Retweet Old Post, or I think it's now Recycle Old Post, something like that. And that one's not expensive. It's like maybe 20 bucks. There's a more expensive one called Social Media Warfare, and that's a really clever name. But what it does is it will not only allow you to redistribute all that stuff to other social media, but you can pick what image represents it in all the different platforms, and you can write the specific post if you want that goes to Twitter, Facebook, what have you, for that platform, meaning you're not just stuck with something generic. So that means you can speak more to the context of that platform, and it's much more relevant, and it doesn't feel spammy. So that might be a good one to use. Some WordPress plugins also have some other native ways to share, and it'll be something like share this or what have you. So those are tools you can use in that case. Okay, and then
when you're posting a video, do you recommend just posting on YouTube and then linking it to your website, or getting them just to your website?
Okay, great question. It's both. The question was, when you're posting a video on YouTube, is it better to link that out to your website, or to really just try to use the YouTube video to drive them to your website? And it is both. It is both because someone is in that platform, they care about that platform. So you want to respect that. But the upside for you, a lot of times, is closing them on your website. But if in the video you mention your website and you mention your email or the preferred way to contact you, that usually eliminates the second step, because a lot of times people don't like to click and leave a platform to do something. So that's important. Also, having your email address in all of your videos is very important for you as a business person and as a marketer. And in YouTube, in the channel settings, there's a default upload setting. And what I do, and what I would do if I were you, is in that one, go ahead and put all of your social media links in there that are relevant to your brand. Put your website in there, but most importantly, put your email address in there. I wouldn't put your phone number just because, YouTube, there could be like anonymous, sketchy people there. But if you have a phone number that's like Google Voice, that is like call forwarding on that, you can use a Google Voice, basically free email phone number, and you can put that out there and put that in social media, so you have a way to filter the calls and not have someone have your personal number or have your business line directly that you don't want to have it, since this is exposed to the whole world. So you have a way to filter. So those are 2 recommendations for that. You do want them to potentially get over to your website if that's what matters to them. But if you sold them in the video, you want to wait for them to buy right away, buy now. You really want them to do that. So I would say create the circumstances for that. We'll take one more question, and then I think Sal needs to whisk me away off the stage here so we can close out. Yes? So that's a great question. Is there an ideal length to the blog post? It's called You Have to Know Your Audience. Now, what I will say is for search engines, the sweet spot is usually 500 words, but I would balance that very heavily against images and video. That's to give the search engine enough context to say, this is relevant, this is not, and so that matters. Human beings still want you to chunk that out a piece at a time, so I would say break that up with subheaders and images and all of those things. so that it's comfortable for the person to read at their own pace. Now, also, if a website of your own feels a little complicated, there's a couple tools I can recommend. It's not the best for SEO in Google, but Squarespace is still really good, and it's really easy for photographers, and you can manage and upload your galleries really easily. It works very well with your smartphones. That's super important today, as we already know. So that's a great tool. And another overall great tool that I would say, if you haven't started a website yet, but you want to start generating content, is Medium.com, and I believe they're owned by Twitter too, and you can sign up with a Twitter account, and that can get you a lot of exposure. And the great thing about Medium.com is it actually tells the person how long it takes to read the article. So if you could make an article that is a 2-minute or 3-minute read, that's a really good sweet spot for someone's attention to make a commitment. So I would definitely recommend that as well. So before I go, Sal drags me off stage, I just want to say thank you, Sal, and thank you everybody at ShutterFest. You guys were amazing.
You did a great job, right? Yeah. No slide there whatsoever. It's like, where's he hiding the slides? How does he know what he's talking about? So, Roberto, good job making shit up the whole time. Absolutely talented guy. You need to follow him. I saw his highlight reel and his YouTube channel, and just incredible wealth of information. So definitely somebody worth following for sure. So that being said, oh my God, I'm getting choked up. Thank you very much, all of you, for being here. Thank you for being part of our first ever ShutterFest Extreme. Really do mean it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate all you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys at ShutterFest 17, so make sure you go to shutterfest.com and register before prices go up. And I